Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Candis Dyer, and this is Canna Corner. We are broadcasted live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Today, I have an amazing guest. His name is Adam Assenberg, and I will be getting him in just a second. First, I want to take time to thank our sponsors. Number one being the Human Solution International, KM420 Radio, WJAE 420 Radio, and Relevant. Uh, Big shout out to all of them, and thank you for making all of this possible. I'm going to go ahead and get Mr. Adam Assenberg in the room. Should be coming shortly. Heck yeah, there he is. Give him a few seconds to get unmuted and ready to go. Hi, Adam. How are you doing? Can you hear me good?
I'm doing good, Candace. How are you today?
I am doing fantastic. Having a had an amazing weekend, and we just got a new pet, and so I'm helping my daughter put that together. How about you?
I've been just basically sitting back all day, medicating as much as I can, and watching some old streaming shows on the internet.
Heck yeah. Sounds like a good time. I see you got a little buddy back there. He's so cute.
Yep, I've got my black lab back here, Copper. I've had him for a little over 10 years.
He's such a sweetie. You look so content right there with daddy.
Well, considering I rescued him from being euthanized as a puppy, he's just really loved me.
That's awesome. I always love hearing stories like that. I know I wanted to take the time to introduce you, Adam Assenberg. You've been quite a busy guy. I've been looking on Google, and I just wanted to take this time to let you go ahead and introduce yourself to all of our listeners and let them know who you are.
Well, basically, my story actually starts back in 1985 because I was a security guard guarding dynamite at a mining quarry, and some people tried to steal the dynamite, and I got in the way of the theft. For my trouble, I was hit dead center in my back with a baseball bat, grabbed by the front of my uniform, and thrown 15 feet backwards off a train trestle onto boulders and left for dead. Once the criminals
Oh my
left,
God.
I tried to stand up and found I had no feeling from the belly button down and crawled about a mile and a half, the police estimated, to the nearest guard shack to call 911 and call out for help. And during all these years since then, all kinds of opiates have been tried on me, fentanyl patches, pain cocktails, you name it. It's been tried on me. And basically, the only thing that's really helped more than anything else is cannabis. And it's been a godsend for me. And then I turn around, and several years later, I meet this wonderful lady, her and her kids, over the internet. And we get together, and the Anacortes Housing Authority in Anacortes, Washington, decides to throw us out over the medical use of cannabis, even though it's covered under I-692, Washington State Medical Marijuana Law. And I tried fighting it in court, and I lost the battle on that one simply because of the fact it was federal housing, and with it still being a federal crime, which we will get into here in just a little bit, I
Right, right.
lost the battle. But we turned around, and the people of Waldport, I mean, of Colfax, Washington, went ahead and welcomed us with open arms, basically. And we moved into Colfax, Washington. I decided later on to get a business license to help distribute medical marijuana to those who need it. I even got myself an ambulance to distribute the medicine.
Wow,
And
wow, that's great.
the name of my business was called Compassion for Patients. And I saw to it that whether or not you had the money for cannabis, if you had a medical license, I saw to it you got your medicine. And then the
That's awesome. We need more of that for sure.
well, thank you. And then the Quad City Drug Task Force in Whitman County decided one day to raid me and my family for doing the medical marijuana. I was on my way to a doctor's appointment when they pulled me over and arrested me. But I found out later on when they did the raid at my home that the low-life police officers even held a gun to my son's face just because he didn't get out of bed quick enough for them. And that's the kind of police we have here in Whitman County. Yeah. And he has
Unfortunately,
went
yes.
ahead
There's a
and
lot of
has
horrible
had
stuff going
trouble.
on.
Yeah, he's had trouble facing law enforcement or any kind of authority figure ever since then because of that nightmare of the gun in his face.
Right.
But I turned around and I knew I had the law on my side. Before the raid took place, I went ahead and studied everything there was to study on the Washington State medical marijuana law and saw just where everything was about. And when they arrested me, they tried like 5 different plea deals with me. And every time they tried a plea deal with me, I told them to stick it up their ass. I wasn't going to take the plea deal. I wanted to take it all the way to a jury trial if need be.
Right.
And came the day when I had to finally go to court on this. They decided to go ahead and dismiss all charges on me. I turned around and decided to take it a step further. And after the hearing, I walked up to the judge and talked to him and asked him to please give me some paperwork so I could take it to the sheriff to force him to return all my product to them that they took during the raid.
Right.
And so I turned in the court order to the sheriff, and he was forced to return all my cannabis that they took during the raid.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. I'm so glad you got a happy story with that one.
Well, not only that, but I decided to slap it in their face even further later on and ran for sheriff of Whitman County against the sheriff who raided me. And I damn near won the election.
Wow. That's amazing. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in our prison system, and there's good cops out there, and but there's bad cops. And my saying is always, when a good cop is watching a bad cop do what they're doing and doesn't turn them in, that then makes that good cop a bad cop. So I mean, we definitely need to educate our police officers, and they, just because we are in prison or we have broken the law doesn't make us not human. We deserve to be treated better than a dog, which is how they treat a lot of our prisoners. And it's just a sad story. And a lot of people don't know that this is going on and think that they're getting their basic 3 meals a day, their meds that they need and all that. But they're not. They're being mistreated.
They are. And, one thing I always try to educate people on is if they're facing a court battle, always argue the fact that under even federal guidelines, cannabis does not fit the guidelines of what a Schedule One narcotic is. I mean, there's 3 steps, A,
Exactly.
B, and C, of what a Schedule One narcotic is. Part A says it has to have a high potential for abuse. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but tobacco, coffee, soda pop, or anything else can fall under that category.
Exactly. And then the other one is that there's no
Oh,
medical value. And cannabis has
exactly.
been
That's part C.
proven.
I
Yes.
mean, that's part B. And
Right.
under part B, it says it cannot have any medical value. But then why are doctors in several states writing recommendations for the medical use of cannabis? And why is
Yes.
it our government has a drug out there called dronevinyl, which is a synthetic THC pill?
Exactly. And they've patented cannabis. There's several patents on it. So if it's not medical, why did they go patent it?
Exactly. And then part C of that Schedule 1 narcotic listing says it cannot be safe even under the guidelines of a doctor. And I'd like for them to prove how many people cannabis has killed in 100 years. Exactly.
Exactly. Zero death.
The only way cannabis can kill you is if a bale of it falls on you.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. The worst overdose you're gonna get on cannabis is a good night's sleep. You may get a little too high and you just go to bed and you wake up, you're fine the next morning.
And that's another thing, Candace, is that I've been smoking basically since 1985 when I broke my back, and a person handed me my first joint and said, "Here, try this. If the pills aren't helping you, this might." And like I say, I've been doing it ever since when I found out what a blessing it was.
Right.
And my body has gotten to the point now to where after all these years of smoking, I don't even get a buzz anymore. All I get is the medical aspects of it.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's another thing people don't really understand. If you take a narcotic, a pill, hydrocodone, or anything like that, you know that every few months your doctor has to up the dose because you become immune a little bit to it and it's not going to work as good for your pain. And that's basically the same thing with cannabis. You're not going to get high like you did your first time when you smoke daily like we do. It's just makes us normal and we can function on a normal level. It's not going to get us all giddy anymore. It takes a whole lot to get me stoned anymore. And basically, I got to smoke a whole lot, dab, and do edibles to get that high.
Well, I have a dear friend of mine that's like a brother by the name of David, and he has told me point blank that he could go to any cannabis shop here in Washington State and try their edibles or their smoke or anything else, and it doesn't do anything for them. But I know how I've been a culinary chef from the Princess Cruise Lines and everything else in my past, and I know how to make brownies really good. And he had two of my brownies and lost 12 hours.
Wow. Wow. I know that I want to say it was a 500 milligram, but it may have been 100 milligram soda. It was called a Kush Pop. And I was in Colorado and Garrett, the 420 minister, had handed it to me. And I'd opened it and I just downed it. Like, oh, it's not going to affect me that bad, right? Well, I was fine all the way until we got home. And then it started hitting me. And I literally felt like the car, I wasn't driving, my husband was, but I literally felt like the car was rolling when we were parked. So I know I got really stoned that day. And I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't have drank that so fast. But that I've taken, it's kicked my ass that bad uh since I first started smoking.
Well, my trick in my brownies is I use 3 ounces of cannabis and 1 pound of butter,
Oh
as
wow.
well as about a fourth of an ounce of hash.
Heck yeah. That would definitely give it a kick, huh?
Well, that's about the only thing that really works for me too, is making it that strong.
Right, right. I know the RSO works really well for me. I was able to get my hands on it a while back ago, but I can't get it regular here in Texas. Um, but I've got some coming, and
Right on.
so I will be able to try some more again soon. But that really helps with my pain is the RSO. Do you find that it helps with yours a little bit?
I've tried the RSO and it's just not strong enough. That's why I just go straight dabs anymore and just
Gotcha.
do the dabs.
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody's different and everybody, that's why it's so important for people. Just because you've tried one thing, don't cut it totally off. Different strands are good for different things. And so you want to try different things and keep a journal if you can, if you know what you're getting. And here in Texas, unfortunately, we don't know what we're getting half the time. But if you know that you've tried Blue Dream and that, oh, that really helped my anxiety or my pain that day. So go to your journal and write down Blue Dream helped with, and that way you know what strands help with you. And then you can find a balance of what kind of cannabis to get.
Yes. And, as far as the federal government getting involved in this goes, I'll tell you, there's a few things that really worry me about that. And one of the things is the fact they want to put a cap on how much THC is in a plant.
Yes.
Second of
But
all, they want to jack up the CBD so that way the higher the CBD, the less effect the THC has on you. And far as their
right.
as far as their bill goes also, I noticed in their cannabis bill at the federal government level, they're also wanting to legalize heroin in the same bill.
Oh
And,
my
that's
God.
one thing
That
I
is
do not agree
crazy.
with.
No, no. I was on meth. I was an addict. If anybody knows me, I was an addict for about 3 years, and I was on the needle. So that is very hard to come off of. And there is only like 13% of people who do it who stay off of it after they quit. And I've been clean for 20 19, 20 years now. I kind of lost count because I've been clean so long. It's always good when that happens. But I believe that if it wasn't for cannabis, I would, because a lot of people don't realize that when you do a drug like that, it takes all your endorphins in your brain away. And it takes almost a year to 2 years for your body to build those endorphins back up, which means you're not happy. You are depressed as hell for like 2 years. And if it wasn't for cannabis, there is no way I would have been able to stay clean. And that's why I get so mad when people say it's a gateway drug. No, it's an exit drug. It helps many people get off pills. I'm off Xanax for almost 8 years now. Uh, just no longer than that. Andrea's 13. I got off when she was born. So 13 years now off Xanax and any psych meds. And I just straight use cannabis. And so a lot of people are doing that.
Well, there's something a lot of people don't realize about me also is that right now, besides the cannabis, I'm on a lot of oxycodone. And by a lot of oxycodone, I'm talking about 40 milligrams in the morning, 30 milligrams in the afternoon, and 40 milligrams at night,
Right.
which is a hell of a dose.
Right.
And that's as much as the doctors are feeling safe with giving me. And so if it wasn't for the cannabis, I don't know what I would do. And even then, before the oxys, they were giving me just basic pain cocktails and these fentanyl patches and stuff like that that were not really helping me at all.
Right.
And about 16, 17 years ago, I decided, Lord, I'm not taking this pain anymore. I'm ready to give up. And
Right.
I went ahead and felt my rib cage really close, took a standard size serrated steak knife, and placed it in my heart 3 times, all the way to the end of the blade to end my life.
Oh
I
my
laid there on
gosh.
the kitchen floor, bleeding out, waiting to die, and I didn't know it, but enough blood had leaked downstairs to where it alerted the downstairs neighbors. They
Oh
called
wow.
911. The cops came in, busted open the door, ordering me to drop the knife, and I told them, no, if you lived in the kind of pain that I live in, you'd go ahead and say goodbye to the world as well. And so 3 of the officers took out their tasers and tasered me in the chest, trying to get me to drop the knife, even though I'm laying there bleeding to death. And I was in so much pain, I just looked at those electrodes in my chest, laughed at the police officers,
Right.
pulled them out of my chest, and said, I can do better, and placed the steak knife a 4th time into my heart.
Man.
I woke up in the hospital to discover I bled out 6 units of blood. They had to replace that much in me, which is basically all the human body holds. And, it's just the Lord wasn't ready to take me yet. I've
Right.
got more here to do. And shortly thereafter is when I met the woman who's now my wife, her and the 2 kids. And I've had all these years of helping to raise them and everything else. But like I say, the police have just really interfered where they shouldn't and have caused me and my family a lot of grief. And
Yeah.
so I
And
tried to get
let's
in
talk
there.
go ahead and talk about that for a minute. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, that's okay. I was just going to say, and
Going
that's
on with us. So
why,
like I'm hearing you.
but I just decided, no more. I'm going to fight back and not try to and do my best to educate everyone I can. That's why I've spoken up at Hemp Fest. That's why I do radio shows and interviews like yours. And whenever I come across people on the street, I talk to them about this. Whenever I have a new doctor I see, I try to educate them about cannabis. It's all about trying to get the stigma changed to
It
where this
is.
is no longer known as a gateway drug and it's known for the medical aspects that it has.
Right, for sure. And that is it. The education is the key. They spent so much money telling us how bad it is. They spent years telling us on the TV, telling us in school, telling us through Dare, that weed will fry your brain and it don't do drugs. And so it's going to take that much money and that much time to diseducate what they did to everybody to try to teach them, no, it's not a bad thing. We have receptors in our bodies that are made for cannabis consumption, and it helps so many people. I'm so glad that it did not work, Adam, and I'm so glad that you are here. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that and that you were in that much pain, that you felt that would be better than what you're going through. And I'm so glad you found your wife and those 2 beautiful kids to give you a reason to stay with us and fight, man. But I did want to go ahead and get you to talk a little bit more on what you were saying earlier, how, because a lot of people don't realize this, and education is the key. Just because it's legal in your state, when it comes to getting housing, government housing, food stamps, any help like that, you can't use cannabis because it's federally illegal.
Exactly, and that's why I say that it needs to be fought with that federal argument that does not stand up to what a Schedule One narcotic is, even under federal guidelines.
Right,
And to
right.
go
Yeah.
ahead and force the courts to prove that it stands up to federal guidelines, which there's no way they can.
Exactly. Exactly. They need to get with a program already. It's crazy that they haven't. There are people out there getting rich in states, and it's mainly corporations because of all the testing you have to do to make sure, especially here in Texas, that it's a 1% cap. Like there's a lot that goes into making sure that plant only produces this much THC and this much CBD. So if you ain't got the money to pay a lab to figure all that out for you and test all that, cannabis is a plant. It should be grown like tomatoes. There should be no cap. There should be no government crap getting involved in our growing. Like it should be homegrown as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you know, Candace, when we had I-692 start up here in Washington State, the Medical Marijuana Act, it was all about patients, helping patients, and about private growing. But ever since they went ahead
Yeah.
and made cannabis legal, even here in Washington State, where I'm at, they've got the same kind of policy going on to where it now has to be tested to see just how much THC and CBDs is in it. And it's taken, and the small guy that was in the business is totally pushed out because he doesn't or she doesn't have the money for the lab equipment, all the necessary licensing, or anything else that the government is now forcing people to have.
Exactly. And then let's say you got popped on a federal case for cannabis. And so you now have a federal charge. You cannot grow. And if the doctor has told you that you can take this and you are on probation, you still can't take cannabis. A lot of issues that why we need to get this federally legal.
Yes, we do, and we also got to go ahead and get it legal at the banking level too, to where these shops can do business instead of just having it all a cash sale where they could easily get robbed.
Right. Right. I know that Texas finally put that in a bill this year where we got the Safe Banking Act. But like you said, they keep sticking little crap in these bills, like they were going to give smokable hemp, which makes no sense that if you're on a medical teacup plan, you can't get smokable. But yet every CBD shop, every gas station that I come across is selling smokable CBD. Like that's okay, but a medical patient can't have smokable 1% THC that they're giving us here in Texas. And they what they tried to do is throw in that bill and revamp it to where it said that Delta 8 would be banned if we took the smokable. So luckily the people were like, no, we ain't even taking that. If you're gonna, we didn't want them taking our Delta 8. They're trying to fight against that right now. But right now, as of this year, it's still legal in Texas, as far as I know.
Yeah, it's ridiculous what these politicians try to keep sneaking into these bills that should be helping people, but turn around and end up sticking it to them in the backside when they're not paying attention.
Yeah, and it's almost
And, you
impossible to
know,
keep up with all of it if you aren't up on all these bills, man. It's so confusing.
well, when I lived down on the other side of Washington State, I cannot begin to tell you how many times I went down to the state capitol talking to our elected officials, trying to educate them and keep an eye on everything that was trying to be passed at the Washington State legislation.
Right. Yeah, you did a whole lot. You want to talk some more about that, about all you had to deal with in that situation?
Well, I'll tell you the thing I really like the most out of everything I've done is went ahead and after everything happened to me and my family, I went ahead and was interviewed with KRFP 92.7 FM in Moscow, Idaho, and they allowed me for 2 years to do a radio show on FM radio in Idaho, educating people in Idaho about cannabis.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome. I love how you took a situation, a tragic situation, where not only you're dealing with pain, but PTSD as well. I mean, that was I can't imagine. And then instead of just, getting your meds and being quiet, you're standing up and you're fighting and you're trying to make a difference and you're trying to make a change. And I just commend you for that.
Well, I commend you and Joe Grumbine and others that also work with the Human Solution as well. I mean, we're all family as far as I'm concerned, and if we don't unite and work together, you know, we're not going to win this.
Exactly. Exactly. We got to stand up and we got to fight and we make a difference. And we all got to do it together.
So, like I say, I'm very honored to work with all of you as well. You know, it goes both ways.
Peaceful protest, but you know what I mean, damage as far as making a statement and making a point. And I'm so sorry, y'all. I think we have like a little lag going on. So you might hear a pause in between all of our conversations, but my internet's being kind of blotchy today, I think.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
But heck yeah, Adam, was there anything else that you wanted to go ahead and talk about today? I don't know if we've missed anything.
No, we basically got it all. I just really want to thank you again and thank all your listeners for joining in and listening to us. And I just can't say enough about how everyone listening needs to speak up in their area, in their neck of the woods, and educate others as to what is going on about how not only is this medicine, but how our government is not honoring what is written in the law.
Exactly, exactly. They're taking it upon themselves to just do whatever they want, and it's crazy. In some cases, you can get pulled over with CBD and be fine. And then in some states, you can get pulled over, or cities, it can be different cities. And that cop be totally against cannabis and going to throw the book at you. And you are guilty until you prove yourself innocent. And if you don't have the money to fight that, then you're screwed. Like, it's
Well,
crazy.
I was lucky enough to find an attorney who was willing to work with me without charging me, did it pro bono. And I basically educated him to the fact of how the state violated its own guidelines of law. And that's why he stood right by me all the way to the end.
That's awesome. That's a great lawyer. I really thank that lawyer. I wish there were more like him. Yeah, it's most people cannot afford to get an attorney, and if you go get an attorney that the state provides for you, they aren't working for you. They're working for the state. They work for who pays them. They'll do as little as they have to do to get you through court, but they're not really fighting for you.
Well,
And
Candace, I'd like to say that if someone is stuck getting a excuse me, state appointed attorney, if they're stuck with that, I would go ahead and tell that person to force that attorney to make that argument about the Schedule One listing and how cannabis does not stand up to that listing. And I would hold that attorney
right,
accountable for doing so.
for sure, for sure. It's crazy how it's supposed to be in the United States of America. We're supposed to be innocent until we're proven guilty, and that is just not the case anymore. It's crazy.
No, we're guilty until we can prove ourselves innocent.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Adam, for coming on. I don't want to keep you much longer. You are welcome to come on anytime you want. If you have like an event or a march or something in your area going on that you want to let our listeners know about, so we can get some people over in your area, then you can come on anytime you want.
Well, I thank you, Candace, and it's wonderful having you as a friend now. And like I said, as far as I'm concerned, we're family as far as the movement goes.
A
So
hundred
you take
percent,
care,
hundred
my
percent.
friend, you and your family, and thank you for having me on.
You too, sir. You have a wonderful day, and thank you so much. Uh, much love and respect to you and your family.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day, you and your
Uh,
listeners.
You too, Adam. Awesome. That's a great guy, a great story. My heart goes out to him for sure. Y'all can find Adam Assenberg over on Facebook. He's got a Facebook page, and follow him if you want to check out what he's got going on. That's awesome that he ran for sheriff. I wish he would have won. And that's the kind of people we need. We need people that are pro cannabis getting in these higher positions so that they can start educating those people in those positions around them about what cannabis really is. It's not a dangerous drug, y'all. It's helping so many people. And we just need to get it legalized federally all the way around. So we've got laws that people can follow and understand and know what's okay and what's not. Because right now, everything's so screwed up. If you go to this state, it's one way. If you go to this city, like here in Texas, for instance, Dallas stopped writing tickets for cannabis, supposedly. I mean, I have heard several people say they've just gotten tickets, so that's awesome. But if you go down the street 30 minutes to Johnson County and you get caught with cannabis, they are going to throw the book at you. They don't care. They're not going to just give you a ticket. They're going to take you to jail or whatever they want, unless you get a cop that is cool and that understands what it is and all that. They're going to tell you, if you don't have a TCAP license, you're not allowed to have that. And like I said, if you've got CBD and that's legal, they're going to say, well, we're charging you with, you got a cartridge. A cartridge is an automatic felony, and I believe up to 10 years in jail. Even if it's Delta 8 or CBD, you have to prove that it is Delta 8 and CBD. They ain't going to do it for you. They're going to say, nope, this is cannabis. And so you got to be so careful. I just tell you, yes, CBD is legal, Delta 8 is legal, but just remember, be smart about it. Keep it hidden either way, and that'll just be good for now, because the laws are just so crazy right now. You just got to be careful. I don't want to see any of y'all in jail, and I want y'all to be able to heal yourselves and help yourselves without having to worry about that. So just be careful where you take it, leaving it out in the open, driving around with it. Just know that this is a problem right now, and you will have to deal with something maybe, and you don't want to have to deal with that. So, but I did want to go over, before I get off, a few events that we have going on. We've got the Live Free Music and Arts Festival, October 23rd in Arkansas from 1 to 10. I will be heading that way in 4 days. I will be leaving to get on the plane on the 22nd. And we will be heading up there. And then Joe Grumbine, Liz Grumbine, Farrah Hunter with KM420 Radio and the Human Solution International Texas chapter will be up there. And we're all going to be staying at a B&B that night. Or, well, Farrah's staying the next night. But Yavani will be there. I'm just so excited about seeing everybody. And then when we go to the event on the 23rd, Wendy Love Edge is going to be there. man, I've been watching the different art stuff they got that they have going on. It's like an art exhibits all over the place. And they've got these giant jellyfish and like an ocean kind of feel at night where they all light up. So you're going to feel like you're kind of in the ocean. There's just so many different art, fun things. And then there's speakers, there's performers, there is different booths and stuff. It's just going to be a blast. Relevant will be out there with a booth. Willow Creek Springs will be out there with a booth. KM 420 Radio will be out there. They're sponsoring, and the Human Solution International and Willow Creek Springs are sponsoring. And it's just going to be a blast. So if you're in the Arkansas area and you want to learn more, I'll be putting the links, of course, in both of the chats after I get off here. And come join us. Come have fun. And then we've got the Texas Hemp Harvest Festival the same day. If you can't quite make it to Arkansas and you're in the Austin area, from 10 to 11, Sweet Cincy is putting on a contest for CBD people. I know they've got the kits mailed out and the judges are judging them right now. And there is a vote going on. So you can look on my page for the vote. And I believe KM 420 Radio and the Go Vote for Us, and go join them from 10 to 11 on the 23rd in Austin, Texas. And this year, I had a blast last year. There were so many different vendors, so many different people to talk to. A great place to go. That'll be November 20th through the 21st, 10 to 5 at K. Bailey Hutchinson Center. And we will definitely be there in Dallas. So if you are around and you want to join us, come on out and get your tickets. I'll put the link in the comments after. And that's about it. I wanted to tell y'all, I got my Cantelia line in, and I'm so excited to be able to try it. So far, the hair serum that I got, CBD anti-aging eye treatment, the eye cream that I've been using for a few weeks now, nightly, has been working great for me. I love this stuff. And then I'm just now trying the face and body toner, which I didn't bring it over here. I forgot. I'm sorry, y'all. We got a snake, and I've been putting the cage together and everything. It's just over there right now. And so I didn't quite get everything together before I got on the show today. But then the other thing that I got was the eye and face serum. And I tried both of those last night. I love the toner. It's tightens up your face and just refreshes you. And I'm going to keep on all of those products at the end of the week. So it'll probably be after I get back from Arkansas. Also, I will not be doing a Canna Corner Monday after getting back. I'm going to go ahead and take that break off. So we'll probably replay a Canna Corner. You can catch the replays on KM 420 Radio at 2 o'clock on Sundays. And then on Wednesdays, WJAE 420 Radio at 2 o'clock. So you can catch the replay of Canna Corner at both those places. You can also go to my YouTube channel, Canna Corner. I edit the video and put it over there after we get them done every day, every night. And then go follow us on Relevant. It's live over there on Relevant right now as we speak. We're trying to get our cannabis community over there. If you need help downloading the app, I have a video in my feed. I'll go ahead and post that video in this chat too. But you can contact me too if you have any questions, and I will walk you through the whole thing. Go join all of the cannabis groups under Weedopedia. KM 420 Radio's over there, WJAE 420 Canna Corner, Ask Mary, and go join all those great groups and come be a part of our cannabis community over there on Relevant. It's an amazing app so far. I'm loving it. It had a few glitches. They work on it, they get it out, but it's a new app and they're wanting our input on it. So if you see something like, oh, you think this would be a good idea for it, they're always looking for your input. So go in and let them know. They've got a group called Relevant Tips and Tricks. and you can go ask any of your questions over there in that group. And they're always really good at getting right back to you. Or if you have any things that you'd like the relevant to work on, you can put it over there. And yeah, so I guess that is my show. Thank y'all all so much for tuning in and listening, and much love and respect.